Good day everyone, I am Mara Rose Dorimon, BSHM Block B. So for today's video, we're going to discuss about the meaning and the importance of tourism, hospitality industry, and also the history. So what is tourism? Although many of us has been tourists at some point in our lives, defining what is tourism actually can be difficult. Tourism is the activities of people traveling to and staying in places outside their usual environment for leisure, business, or other purposes for not more than one consecutive year. Tourism is a dynamic and competitive industry that requires the ability to adapt constantly to customers' changing needs and desires, as the customer satisfaction, safety, and enjoyment are particularly the focuses of tourism businesses. So what is the importance of tourism? So the tourism industry is important for the benefits it brings and due to its role as a commercial activity that creates demand and growth for many more industries. Tourism not only contributes towards more economic activities but also generates more employment, revenues, and play a significant role in development. So, what is hospitality industry? The hospitality industry is a broad category of fields within the service industry that includes lodging, food and drink service, event planning, theme parks, travel, and tourism. It includes hotels, tourism agency, restaurants, and bars. So what is the importance of hospitality industry? Around the world, patrons rely on the hospitality industry in the many aspects of their life, from restaurants and hotels to shops and amusement parks. We experience different forms of hospitality on a daily basis. With origins dating back thousands of years, hospitality is an important concept on which countless businesses operate. To fully understand why hospitality is important, you must first familiarize yourself with the concept of hospitality and how it affects the world around us. Hospitality is both a concept as well as an industry. The term hospitality refers to the relationship between a guest and a host. If you invite a friend or a family member over to your home for dinner, for example, you'll perform hospitality by accommodating the guest's needs. Some businesses rely on hospitality to perform their operations and generate revenue. These hospitality businesses include restaurants, cafes, clubs, bars, hotels, motels, coffee shops, and travel agency, just to name a few. They differ from traditional businesses in sense that their success relies on strong, positive communications with their customers and target audience. So now, let's proceed the history of tourism. Tourism can be recognized as long as people have traveled. The narrative of Marco Polo in the 13th century, the Grand Tour of the British aristocracy to Europe in the 18th century, and the journeys of David Livingstone through Africa in the 19th century are well examples of early tourism. Thomas Cook is popularly regarded as the founder of exclusive tour with his use of chartered train in 1841 to transport tourists from Loughborough to Leicester. Before 1950s, tourism in Europe was mainly a domestic activity with some international travel between countries, mainly within continental Europe. In the period of recovery following World War II, a combination of circumstances provided a impetus to international travels, Among the important contributing factors were the growing number of people in employment, the increase in real disposable incomes and available leisure time, and changing social attitudes towards leisure and work. These factors combined, they stimulate the talent's demand for foreign travel and holidays. The emergence of specialist tour operators who organize exclusive holidays by purchasing transport, accommodation, and related service and selling these at a single price brought forth holidays within the price range of a new and growing group of consumers. The package or inclusive tour democratized travel in Europe. Foreign holidays were no longer the preserve of the affluent and sociality classes. History of hospitality. The word hospitality predates the use of the word tourism and first appeared in the 14th century. It is derived from the Latin hospes, which encompasses the word guest, host, and foreigner. The word tourist appeared in print much later in 1772. A brief history of the industry. The earliest accommodation were generally family-owned, with families providing not only lodging but also food and drink for weary travelers. The early days of leisurely travel were generally reserved for royalty and the very wealthy, although some travels were taken as a part of an education process of religious requirement. In fact, European monasteries were frequently used for lodging during the Middle Ages. These basic trends continue for some time until modern transportation lowered the cost of travel enough to fit they within the budget of the less wealthy. The word hospitality was used before the word tourism. Tourism was used to describe individual traveling away from home beginning in the 70s. The Industrial Revolution in England, along with the creation of more modern modes of transportation such as steamships and railways, made traveling easier and more common. By the middle of the 70s, the term hotel came to be used for lodging in Europe, replacing the old idea of inns or taverns there. However, lodging facilities in America were gaining popularity as inns. The first known travel agency, started by Thomas Cook in England, appeared in the Middle 18th and offered a package that included railway tickets and accompanying tour book. A few years prior, the modern hotel industry got going in the United States with the opening of the City Hotel in New York in 1794. Before that, travelers might be stopped by a tavern-like business for a bite to eat or drinks in Boston, the site of the first American coffee houses. However, it was during the 18th the first establishment that resembled modern restaurants were opened in Paris, France. These restaurants, which catered to a wealthy clientele, were vastly different than the taverns and inns that provided food to travelers. And that's all. Thank you. Bye.